Okay, I'll admit it. I've been slacking a lot on the Rangers this season. And I know I began with trying to keep up with them on a week by week basis. Admittedly, it's very tough when they're playing 3 to 4 games a week. I have my own stuff. I have another job to worry about. I have my own hockey to worry about. But since everything else has kind of cooled down in the sports world and is almost getting time ready for playoffs here, we're taking a look at the Rangers now a bit more in depth. And one thing that is absolutely, we'll say, bugging me is that this team, so far, I know they still have 19 more games to go, is reminding me a lot of the 15-16 season that the Rangers had. And if anyone remembers, that year looked great on paper. 101 point season that followed up not quite as good as a President's Trophy winning season that they did last year with 115 points, 113, around there. And the team showed still that they were competitive, but something in the back of my mind always felt off. And it came to fruition eventually where they lost 4-1 in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals, and I'm still going to call it that, and I'm not calling it first round, second round. I hate that. To the Pittsburgh Penguins. And there were holes in that team that they really came to fruition there. And this team, I don't want to say they are exactly this team, but the vibes are definitely there. And here's what I mean by this. I know they traded for Tarasenko. I know they traded for Kane. I think they're going to help, and they're definitely going to make the playoffs. The team has 79 points, 19 games to go. I still think they're 7 ahead of Pittsburgh or something like that at the time of this recording. And win 10 of these games, you're at 99 points. There's no way you're not making the playoffs, and you should be third place in the Metropolitan, most likely playing New Jersey. But it still feels like it's going to be a letdown here. And just to give you some stats here, I took a look at the 15-16 team. I'm taking a look at this team right now, and I know this season still has yet to fully play out. So the statistics I'm bringing up here are only through 69 games that they've played. Not 69 games. That's way too... They still have 19 games to go. 63 games. 63. Math is hard sometimes, okay, people? Cut me some slack. So the 15-16 season is as follows. Their goals for were 2.84 for the season. It was good for 7th place. Goals against 2.62, 16th. Power play percentage was 18.58 for 15th. And the penalty kill was 78.19 for 26th. This year, they've improved in every... The improvement is... I guess I can't say improvement. It's been 7 years now. But the difference here is the numbers are better this year than last year by a decent margin. And not without saying this is actually for the whole entire league. But your points now for 22-23, goals for is now a 3.27, 13th. The fact that they dropped 6 positions but improved their goals for shows how much the offense has really been brought up now in hockey the past few years. Their goals against average, that went up, so that metric dropped slightly, but they improved to 11th in the league so far. Power play percentage is 22.8, 4 points higher than it was. That's good for 10th, and 79.33 is their penalty kill, which is middle of the pack at 16th. And I know the numbers look better aside from goals against average, and they are ranked higher in everything comparatively aside from goals for, but something just still is not seeming right, and I can't put my finger on it what it is. The team has had 2 7-game win streaks this season. I took a look back in this 15-16. They had 1, and then I think their other big win streak was like 5 games or something like that. So this team I think is slightly better than that 15-16 team. Even if they end up getting less points than that team did. I still think this team is a little better, but this team also is really, really streaky, it seems. Because after winning that 7 games, they lost 4 in a row. I know one was an overtime game. But of course, obviously they can't be doing that. And if they want to get their losing streak out of the way, I guess they should do it now rather than getting close to the postseason and laying a dud. And the only other big difference here, which I think is a saving grace for them, is the 15-16 season compared to the 22-23, what the expectations are for them. In 15-16, of course, you're coming off a President's Trophy winning season where you were one game away from going back to a Stanley Cup final for the second year in a row. They laid a dud, unfortunately, in that game. So the expectation, I think, was still there that this team is still capable of going to a Stanley Cup final and potentially winning it. It was still, of course, hindsight's 2020. That was the second to last year for their Stanley Cup window. So the expectation, I think, was still high for them to at least be able to make the conference finals again. This year, they're riding on a season from where they went to the conference finals last year, and that was an extreme overachievement. I don't think anyone expected them to make it to the conference finals. I know I didn't. Last year, my expectations for them were make the playoffs. If you can win your Eastern Conference quarterfinal matchup, cool. That would be great. And that's all I could ask for. This year, to me, it was the expectations were a little higher at the beginning of the season, and to me, this is still where they're at. Make the playoffs. You have to win your Eastern Conference quarterfinal round again this year. And if you can make it to the conference semis, I'm fine with that. If you can make it to the conference finals again or further, of course, that's fantastic. So the expectations are not as high, at least to me, this year compared to what they were in 15-16. This is still something I am still concerned about, though. I'm still going to have that inkling in the back of my head, I think, for the rest of the season right now until they can prove to me otherwise. If everything comes together, I think the team's fine. I think this team can beat the Devils. This team can beat any team in the league when they're playing at their best. They hung with Boston for their most recent game against them until the third period. Then it kind of fell apart. But this team can hold up against anyone. Last year, they just ran out of gas against the Lightning, and that when you play 2 7-game series in a row, which of course is the Rangers' MO every single postseason, it's going to happen to you. Otherwise, I was confident they probably would have made the Stanley Cup final if they didn't have to go through the endurance run there. But we'll see how it goes. I'm still going to be optimistic about this team. The team is still young. They're getting in here. I'm just worried that they're trying to get this whole win now scenario, which I get it. They're in that time frame now. Stanley Cup window is starting to open up for them again. Last year, they might have fully blown it open all the way. So now it's up to them to just cross it over there. They're just having a problem where they just want to get rentals real quick. Tarasenko's definitely a rental. Kane is obviously a rental with the way that trade went. And even last year, Tyler Mott was a rental. Kopp was a rental. Vatrano was a rental. And this is not to discount these guys who are rentals for the rest of the year. They got them for a reason. Last year, it paid off fantastic. Kopp was amazing. Vatrano was fantastic. He was super fast, and he never stopped. And Tyler Mott, they brought him back again this year. He was a great depth forward last year. I think he's going to do it again just fine here on the fourth line again. And with Tarasenko and Kane, now you're bringing in the two huge guys where this is clearly now a cup or bust year. And I am hoping that obviously it's going to be a cup year. I'm still skeptical that it's going to work out for them. But luckily the team is still young. The kids are all still here. They just have to hope it all gels together. So thanks for watching here. I sincerely hope that this team is not the 15-16 Rangers, because I don't think I can stand another year of disappointment, although every fan has been suffering disappointment since 1994 now. But hey, at least it won't be another 54 years, right? Let's hope not. So thanks everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye.